Kate, when I think about what you're doing with leading an entire organization into the future of work, I mean, I think you've used that phrase as well. How do we architect what this could look like, and what design skills do we need to deploy, right, as part of getting people equipped so everyone can bring that design mentality to work?
Yeah, and Kate, Accenture has done an impressive body of work, surveyed over 7,000 individuals, over 3,500 customers in 14 countries, and they've developed this better to belong research, which quantifies the impact leaders can make when they leave their people net better off. When leaders scale equitable experiences, they drive up these net better scores, which in turn creates a thriving culture of diversity, inclusion, belonging, innovation. Very fascinating piece of research. Can you please kind of share more on this research and some of the key findings from that research?
Well, Shivani, thank you so much for that question. And I find that, this topic of the research is so relevant to this conversation we're having around values and simplicity, because what that research found was that by getting traditional moments that matter right, so think things like onboarding, leaves of absence, life moments, leaders can drive up the net better off score by up to 3.2 times. Even better, when leaders just get the day-to-day experiences right, they can increase net better off by 5 times. And so much of what we're talking about in the future of work is about those day-to-day experiences. So what is net better off? It's by meeting 6 fundamental human needs through work. Companies unlock their people's full potential. And we call this framework net better off. And it's got 6 dimensions, and I'll just highlight them here. So the 6 dimensions are emotional and mental well-being, relational, or call it sense of belonging, physical well-being, financial, so think rewards and benefits packages, purposeful and employable, really thinking about skills and employability into higher paying jobs and roles. So really back to the core, really back to the fundamental things that make people feel a better sense of belonging and are therefore net better off.
Love this. I loved your stat there, Kate, about basically the NBO scores for the leaders improves by over 3x when they focus on these traditional moments that matter. And you talked about onboarding. It's really also very impressive that Accenture is using virtual reality now for onboarding new hires. Talk about innovation, right? There was a recent article, I think it was in Fortune or Forbes, that over 150,000 new hires at Accenture will be spending their first day of work in the metaverse on the nth floor of a metaverse campus. So what are some of the other examples that you're seeing companies using innovation and new technology to create this new culture and embrace this hybrid work style?
Yes, we have One Accenture Park. I've had a few sessions in One Accenture Park on my Oculus, and I do enjoy meeting people, and it doesn't matter what I look like in the actual world. We can meet in the metaverse, and it's really quite an amazing experience. But I'll talk a little bit about our future of work and how we talk about the future of work being hybrid, because so much of that is grounded in technology and innovation while still being simple. And, given the breadth of our talent across Accenture, we know that one size really doesn't fit all when it comes to working, collaboration, and balancing life and work. And so as we think about our future of work, there's 5 tenets that we anchor to: flexibility, not one size fits all, a decision framework, some amount of in-person connection time, and human-led culture and omni-connected experiences. And given your question, Shivani, I'll dive into 2 of those. So I'll touch on 2 here. A decision framework. So we've created a framework to really help our leaders think through how to manage their teams in a hybrid working world. And I love, Karen, what you about value, right? And our leaders need help thinking through not only, their value, but bringing that to life on their teams. And so to help them, we developed personas that help guide decision-making of the type of work, the type of roles that are done better in person or could be better done remote. And then the framework supports how our leaders bring these teams together in an omni-connected way. And we talk about omni-connection at Accenture. And really what that means is the way we create experiences that include everyone, whether someone is in person, whether they're remote, whether out at one of our clients. We call bringing people together in wherever they are omni-connected. And so the experience, the collaboration, the technology, the presentation, whatever it may be, all of the elements should really feel the same, whether or not you're connecting in person or virtually. But Karen, would love to hear from you on, what you're seeing both where you are and at other companies.
Kate, something that you hit there that's so critically important is the onboarding experience. And I work with so many organizations that are rethinking how to have a great onboarding experience when you may or may not be in person with the people that you will be working with on a regular basis. And two extensions of what you shared that stand out to me as innovative and potentially useful for anyone listening. The first one, you talked about meeting up with people. You've done these sessions where you're in the metaverse, and really what you're thinking about is how do we connect in a way that feels real, and from the very beginning set people up with some relationships that help them succeed. I mean, we all know that who you know inside of your company helps you feel belonging and community, and it also helps you get things done, right? So great organizations I see right now, not only thinking about what employees need to know when they start and building a thoughtful curriculum that works in person or hybrid, but also taking that a step further and designing a who you need to know plan so that immediately you start to build relationships within the company that give you a sense of connectedness, even if you can't be together. And the second example I love from an organization that I've been doing some work with is, as part of their day one experience for their new employees, they ask each employee to write a letter that's called My Career Dream. And the idea behind the letter is to envision, what is your career dream and where would you want to be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now? What would you want your, they call it hire to retire, dream career to look like here? And at the end of the first week, they review that with the manager, and then they actually set up some milestone check-ins over time to consider, based on what you're discovering and experiencing, how is your career dream evolving? And it's a great way to match up kind of the aspiration with the action, and also, the closing the gap between the expectations and experiences. So I thought that was creative. It's something different. It's something any organization can try. And it really gets to the heart of, how do you see yourself here? What do we need to do to set you up for success? And how do we revisit this plan as you discover more, learn more, and maybe your interests shift?
I love that. I feel like it's so empowering too, to have someone join a company and automatically dream about what's next, right? And it also makes them feel seen, right? Because they're putting out there what they want and sharing it with their manager. I think that's great.